Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Humanity. Again, the subject, I'm a business with human beings, not anything else but health. Because once you have a health brain, that's very, very good, because you'll be able to look after your mother, you'll be able to look after your wife, you'll be able to look after your children, as well as members of society in your societies. With that, the reason why I keep drumming the drum of health is to remind you that you are all living Muslims, whereby in the community of Muslims, we have so many members of that community. There are bees which pollinates what human beings consume as food. Those are also members of the community of Islam, of Muslims. A bee is a member of the community of Muslim or living creations of Muslims. If it was not to pollinate and whatever, and if it was kind of disadvantaged by silly human beings doing its work, which is obligation to contribution to of peace and harmony to human beings, then that kind of whatever will be caused by human beings, and it's more likely to cause famine if there was no pollination of foods, what men consume as food. With that, we are all Muslims, or you are all living Muslims living on planet Earth, whereby you shouldn't engage and conjecture beliefs which attack other creations and say, we are Ahmadiyya Muslims, you are Pentecost, we are Catholics, we are Protestants, we are descendants. These are structures of beliefs, of gangs, whereby if there was a gang on the 3rd Street in the next town, there'll be another gang in the corridors of Parliament, a gang which says, or in the corridors of the Assembly of Senators, which says we are militant Christians. And that gang, there'll be another one which says, no, we are Republicans. And another one which says, we are Democrats. My people, the reason why I'm saying these things is to awake men and with women from these structures of gangs which builds divisions, racism. There are divisions, racism, and they will create distances which may make an African man unable to live in Africa anywhere, other than if he produces a document which says, I am an African, the color of his skin says, I'm an African, but I can't live in such and such a country because of either a document that is required to be produced in order to confirm that you are a citizen of this continent. That was brought about 11 centuries ago, when men sat and said the only way we can organize gang and implement this gang lifestyle in men, so that we can, if you're a gang member, if the other gang member is taken down, you can take over the gang leadership. Each member of the gang leadership has his own ideologies. And over time, those ideologies became kind of men what they interpreted as beliefs. I mean, as religion, whereas they were beliefs of gangs. A gang from Greece did not work well with the gang of the Romans in Athens or in Olympus. So they would form and fight one another. With that, this gang lifestyle 11 centuries ago crossed borders, and it went as far as the Middle East. It crossed borders. It went as far as the Americas. It crossed borders and went as far as Africa. And the entire planet became contaminated with gang lifestyles, where men went as far as, in those days, when the gangs had just formed, they used to carry things like spears and drinking utensils. The drinking utensils meant sure that you were always under the influence of alcohol. If you are under the influence of alcohol, you would think you're a Superman. Young man, are you a Superman or what? You see, he says he's a Superman. So that way, the gang lifestyle, they've kind of extended its tentacles in men and women all over the world, causing men to become worthless. When they become worthless, they found that mutilation of other human being bodies was just something as what you call entertainment in modern times. There are channels on TVs whereby men and women enjoy mutilation of their fellow human beings, the spilling of blood, which is kind of very abnormal. Because we looked at a bee. A bee is an insect, but is a member of a community of Muslims. It pollinates what you call maize and wheat, and you are able to eat bread. What if you were to put pesticide, what you call pesticide, in that and the bee cannot kind of pollinate? That means there'll be no food, isn't it? There'll be no food for human beings to eat, to be able to get bread. So with that, I just want to remind men that all living men and women on planet Earth are Muslims. You may be living under the gang lifestyle, but once you're pulled down as a gang member, none of your gang members enters the grave with you. None of the gang members answers for your query, whatever is questioned about you. It's you as an individual. You'll be thrown in hell. Hell exists. I do confirm that. Anyone who has a doubt that the hell doesn't exist, he does. How do we prove that? I think some of you have come across when Mother Nature says he has more than 100 degrees of the heat of the sun, which men cannot handle, the bodies of men cannot handle. He is 1,000 degrees Celsius, which bodies of men cannot handle. Yes, hell exists. You've seen molten rock. It's a heap of whatever the earth running as it's rock, molten fire running as a stream of whatever. Yes, hell exists. You did not put it underneath this planet Earth. We did. To safeguard men from going out of their heads and becoming worthless. So with that, I just want to remind men that, remember, whenever you think of life is a religion. Life is a religion. And that most holy, beautiful religion is Islam. If you are to disrespect that proof, your own body will bear witness when it throws you into leukemia, cancer, blood cancer. You suffer from a cancer, or there's some diseases which are engineered when you are in the womb of your mother. For instance, if the azan of the Qibla of Jannah is called, and you are in the womb and you don't give a damn, you are on your business as a gang, whatever. There are children born with sickle cells, blood diseases, or born with a hole in their heart because you did not respond to the call of azan of Allah, whereas the qadar that makes you survive on this planet is given to you whenever you participate in the salat, in the prayers of Al-Jannah. When the Qibla of Jannah is called, Azan of Jannah is called. Those are announced. So with that, there are diseases which are comes directly, because once you refuse to answer the call of Azan of the Qibla of Jannah, that means the portion of your heart or the beat of your heart which would have been created won't be created, because you did not participate in the Al-Jannah prayers. With that, the children born with holes in their hearts, children born with disabled, with abnormal limbs. If your mother was to adhere truly and faithfully to the beauty of the religion of Islam, you have no problems of that nature, because Allah creates everything space in its form as pure and beautiful. Every living human being on this planet is created and conceived as a pure Muslim creation. Once you deviate and you say, I'm this and that, because we saw that some big children in their mother's womb, because the mother has never mentioned the Allahu Akbar, and she's pregnant. She has never said Allahu Akbar. So the child never hears what mother says. The child waits for Allah. When Allah comes to mold the child, and when they call the prayer, no one reminds. But if the child hears the mother who carries the womb saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah, the child will be able to remember that. And with that remembrance, her brain will always remember and recognize the beauty of the most holy, beautiful religion of Islam. And the body of such a child will be complete, not cast by the moon, because what we didn't talk about is that the moon in the sky registers or records data from a girl child from the very day she's born 3 times every 60 seconds. And that data is corrected over 24 days. On the 25th day, then it's assessed and evaluated and analyzed. And that red and white blood cells in that girl's or woman's body, which are found to be not in range with the gravity reproductive energies, reproductive gravity reproductive what we call reproductive range of whatever. They'll be removed as they come out of as blood when a woman goes into her menstrual cycles, because some of the blood cells are weak. If a woman was to conceive while some of her red and white blood cells are they're not in range with the sun, the gravity reproductive whatever of the sun, the gravity reproductive range of the moon and the planet and the solar system. That child will be formed with limbs which are not complete. And that will cause problems to the child as well as to the mother, because when a woman gives birth to a child who has deformed limbs, she loses the interest to look after such a child. Wow. So with that, my creations, remember that you are all live Muslims on this planet, whereby no fighting in front of me, young ladies. No fighting. So with that, I was talking to these beautiful cats, because they are always here kind of giving me company. Some of them, they come out, they kind of show off their muscles and they say, don't get into my territory. And the other one says, don't get into my territory too. So with that, I just want to remind men and women, you are all live Muslims on this planet. Do not ever go out of your heads and say, we are Christians. If you are to analyze and study properly what we call biography, what a biography is, You find that men like Caesar is mentioned in the Bible, isn't he? Was he a prophet? No. Was he a gangster? Yes. He was a gangster who ordered his men to either invade and cut off men's hands, those who survived, those whatever, mutilation of their bodies. They are now classified as saints. Saint Matthew, Saint Peter, Saint Balikudembe, Saint Kizito, all that nonsense. But the religion of those men were Islam. If we were to appear today, they will confirm you that our people, we are a people who are misguided. We used to consume alcohol in coliseums. We would gather ourselves on a Sunday and sit in what we call today in modern times a coliseum. In modern times, you call them football because you play football in them. In those days, these used to be places where men would starve lions for 5 days or 7 days. A lion hasn't eaten anything. And they bring a woman in her 16 or 18 years. They threw her in the angry lions. And then the angry lion would tear the girl apart, or the little boy apart in his 16 year or 18 or 20. Because they ask him, are you a part of our gang? If you say you are not a part of our gang, then you'll be thrown into the lions, the angry lions. If not that, they would call on the gladiators. The gladiators were men who used to give glad to those who were intoxicated, who were drunk, who were consuming alcohol. A machete man with a spear would hack another man, and hack him, and hack themselves. And they were named as gladiators. In modern times, they moved on, they produced even nuclear weapons, following the culture of sadism, the culture of stagnant and dirty theologies, dirty belief of gang lifestyle. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah, my people. If you could wake up from the siege of foolishness and drunkenness, in madness and foolishness, because Allah calls that kind of practice of whereby men derive pleasure from the psychological and physical mutilation of others, sadism. Sadism is when a man thinks that if I was to spill blood of that whatever, he would enjoy that. It's abnormal, it's unnatural, it's sick, it's stagnant, it's dead. That's why they show a picture of Jesus stretched on a cross, one arm on the other, pinned on the other, whatever, and the other one, and a crown of whatever you call thorns on his head, and wounds all over his body. That's a man. If little girls look at such things, they find that sickening, and they become sick. If you were to ask a competent psychologist, he will tell you that these images are very, very deadly to young girls, especially young girls and young boys, because they lose the ability to understand what is normal and what is abnormal. If you were to look at a picture of Jesus or Isa on pinned on a cross, and you have to do that every Sunday, and sometimes some parents they put crosses of Jesus in their houses. That is psychological and physical mutilation of those little girls and boys whom we call your children. So instead of you say you are bringing up your children, you are bringing up terrorists, men who say we are in what we call insurrection. When they say insurrection, you know what they do? They shoot you in the back, or they stab you in the back. It happened to me a few days ago. I went to get something, and the boy came out of Norway and sprayed the bullet right so close on my back, and it was smashed. He said, what? Why did you do that? They asked him. He said, it's because we are in the rage and we are in insurrection. In his Christianity, we say insurrection means kill those here who say anything about Christianity. How far will you go on saying you are fighting the true religion? If not, I would give an example of men who are really insane. If a tree says Allah Akbar, because it has that obligation to remind men that me as a tree, a mango tree, an orange tree, or a leaf of a grass, I'm fused with milk and honey, not because of Christianity, but because of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.